Welcome to Get Valiant. We are back. It is number 155. How are you, gents?
The big 155.
Dude, it only gets bigger.
It only gets bigger from episode to episode. That's what she said.
That's right.
So
Go ahead.
we're a little bit off of our normal schedule. We're here on a Friday, but it's been crazy. Things have been so crazy in the world, and we have not been immune to the craziness in the world.
Things have been so crazy.
That's very true.
Hey, that wasn't you this time, Eric.
It wasn't me this time.
It was my kids use my iPad all day. So like once the live
now he's
feed
gonna
went,
blame the kids.
Oh,
Blame the
sure.
kids.
I am gonna blame. Well, my life is pretty crazy. I don't know how it is for you guys, but I've got to teach my kids their schooling all day long. It's not very fun.
Yeah.
That's not what being a stay-at-home parent was supposed to be about. Okay, I didn't want to teach anybody anything.
Yeah, here, give me 1 second.
The only part of the day I'm looking forward to anymore is I make my kids do recess outside in the backyard. That's like the best part of my day now.
You're also like, what's your favorite class? Recess.
Recess.
Even as a parent.
It's hard, man. Like it's my kids. I mean, we have like a mountain of paperwork and school books. My kids are in like second grade and kindergarten, and I got like so much schoolwork they have to do, and then they got to get on the iPads and do digital stuff. There's a lot of schoolwork that they do at home. We're not letting them take it easy. You know, we're trying to keep things going because they might go back to school this school year. They might not go back to the fall, but we're gonna help them out best we can. But it's hard because I'm doing a lot of that stuff, and I'm trying to make it so my wife doesn't get interrupted doing her job.
Keep them educated, man.
But yep, I'm not the right person to do it.
Well, I think the craziest thing, as far as relates to the podcast, is that Diamond has shut down, so we don't know when comics are going to be shipping again. So that's pretty nuts. But this is when it comes in handy to have a backlog. We've had so many interviews, and we did that amazing episode that Greg helped us put together, where we had just a bunch of people from other podcasts. We had Valiant Central represented, we had Valiant Comics Review, and we had Valiant Watch. So, getting to do that episode was amazing, but obviously it didn't allow us to do any reviews. So we've got a backlog of reviews, and now is the time to kind of get into some of those. Yeah, like I said before, we're kind of off of our normal schedule doing this on a Friday instead of Wednesday because of the craziness. I'm sure that anybody watching or listening has experienced their own level of craziness and probably can understand where we're coming from.
Here's part of my craziness. Show you guys. I don't know if it'll show it. Yeah. Oh, that beautiful thing to be essential staff.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've been working more than ever.
I got a
letter from the Department of Health to put in my
bet.
car when I'm driving, just in case eventually they do roadblocks. Who knows?
Yep.
I don't leave my house at all right now, just to do grocery shopping, which I don't know how that is for anyone on where you guys are at, but it's kind of like it's an experience right now. It's so weird. It's so weird to go to stores and see like empty shelves and things like that. It feels like something you would just read like in a novel or see like in a movie.
Rewatching Fear the Walking Dead, and the first 3 episodes are all about this sickness outbreak that they really don't know it's like the zombie outbreak, but it does remind you there's so many parallels of what's going on right now. It's pretty weird. You should watch it.
Yeah, but you know what though? Look, here's the thing. Like the real world sucks right now, but like we're all here because we're like Valiant. So like, we'll try and let you guys forget about the real world for a little bit. We'll talk about a couple of cool books. See what your thoughts are on them.
Stuff coming on in the chat. Looks like we got Tor just letting Eric have it because he's it's amazing. So good job, Tor. Keep that up for us. We appreciate it. Eric's got that sexy bald head right now, and he's joining the bald head group. So we appreciate that.
I like that he put in there. He's spitting baby diarrhea right now. I love it.
I don't know what that means.
Don't believe it. That's good stuff.
We're glad to have Tor here.
Yes, I love Tor. Tor is
We
a
need
great buddy of mine.
we need to have Tor on another episode. He hasn't been on for a few years, but he did come on when I wasn't around for a night.
Yeah, it's been many moons, but I'd definitely be happy to have Tor on again. And Different Minds hanging out with us as well.
And Aaron
Yeah,
Nagy
Hands
also.
on.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's right.
So, as Josh was saying, we do have a couple of books that we can talk about because we had that garbage. I'm not spitting garbage. What are you talking about? But we've got a couple books that we can talk about since we do have that backlog. And yeah, I think it's time to get into those. What do you guys think?
I think we should
Sure.
spoil the crap out of them.
Yeah, man. Gonna get into some
Yeah.
spoilers.
I was gonna say, if you haven't read these books by now, man,
What do you,
I don't know what to tell you. Your comic shop must be closed. That's
Right?
probably why.
baby diarrhea garbage, but worse. So we're rocking it. So let's get into Rye number 5. Yeah, Dan Abnett, Juan Jose Reed, Andrew Dahlhaus, Dave Sharp, and I have to say, I love anything that Rip does with this blood and guts and people's like heads being chopped off. Like he just, it's from Britannia made me love it, and just seeing it what he's producing here again is pretty damn cool.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there
there's
was a specific page that where a guy's head is getting blown apart, and it's just perfect for Juan Jose Reed.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah, I especially like the one that we're showing on the screen right now, where it shows like Rye's sword going through the guy's head. I feel like that's very indicative of this issue. Yeah, so this is the second part of the story, because the first 3 issues of this run have all been kind of done in once while maintaining an overall story. This one continues from issue 4, where Raijin and company pull up at this new little habitat of sorts. The Eternal Warriors there. They know that one of Father's offspring are there, but it's part of the stuff that helps keep this place running. So Father's forces have shown up. This issue is just chock full of action. Lots of great visuals too, just because it is Juan Jose Reed getting to kind of let loose. Lots of severed limbs and heads and swords everywhere. It was quite a beautiful issue.
Yeah, I think kind of like what you had said, Josh. The first 3 issues we all had that were self-contained. I mean, obviously they served a larger narrative, but they were very self-contained. And so getting from issue 4, having it not be self-contained, I was really interested to see what this issue was going to end up being. And I think there's so much to unpack in this issue, and it totally makes sense why they would want to take the concept that started in issue 4 and turn it into a 2-issue thing, because there's way too much going on between Eternal Warrior and Rye. The relationship that develops a little bit between the new Geomancer and Raijin. And there's so many other characters that we get a little bit of information on, like Mally. And yeah, I mean, there's just so much going on. This is such a dense issue that I'm really glad that they did split this kind of little story up into 2 issues instead of trying to pack it into 1. And it works really, really well. I think that there are a lot of really interesting themes explored here with, Rye talking about, his humanity and admitting that, yeah, he is just kind of using Raijin, and then revealing at the end that he wants to not only destroy Father, but also destroy Raijin and himself to get rid of all of the AI. I thought that was a really interesting kind of reveal that came in this issue. So to me, like, it really feels like Dan Abnett has got inside Rye's head and is taking him to unexpected places, but still places that totally follow the character, that make complete sense with what we already know about the character. And I think that's a really difficult line to walk, and Abnett is nailing it right on the head. So not only is the art amazing in this, I think that there's a lot of good things to be said about the writing as well.
What are you thinking of this new Geomancer that we're seeing here? She's she's pretty hot.
And again, like I say it, I'm a broken record on this, but it's one more thing I like about this 4001 timeline, 4002 timeline is that you can do so much with it. So I think it makes sense to have a Geomancer there. We knew that one existed,
Right.
but it's just good to have that character thrown in. So I like it. I'm really glad that Eric brought up the whole thing about how Rai does have like an end game of sorts between not just father, but also for him and Raijin. I just think that's a really interesting outlook that he's got. It's not, and to me, like it just feels like Dan Abnett's not necessarily just going by the numbers on how to do this book. Like he's gonna, Rai's gonna save the day, and they're all gonna be happy. He's like, no, I'm part of it, and when I get everything else taken care of, I'll take care of the last two loose ends, which is him and Raijin. I think it's really interesting.
Yeah, I think it's a cool, just position that they're in, and that he is seeing this piece to, I want to be human, and that's kind of, I know how to die type of thing. It's kind of a cool realm that he's taking. And then I'm really, just the Red King piece here is really, really cool with these nano armored, soldiers that they're in, and then basically moving that Geomancer to serve out that EMP to kind of disarm them and see where they're at as far as just like being like these manipulated people that are just basically tools for the Bloodfather to do what he's doing. And there's kind of the piece where they know that this offspring that they're going for here at Hope Springs, it's like it's no good anyway, and they're basically running after Rai to basically be their drug sniffing dog type of thing, right? They want him to sniff out the other offsprings, and they're wanting to use, like, and Raijin says that's why Rai's using me too, so he knows it, and so there's this cool like knowledge of knowing the story that Raijin's doing and where they're kind of going, and it's an interesting dynamic. I feel like there's going to be more turns down the way. That Raijin has something up his sleeve down the way when everything's said and done. And it's continuing to be a dynamic story. We're getting multi-levels. It's peeling back layers. Getting, Glad in here is always a great part of any story at any time frame. And so it continues to be a book that I enjoy week in, week out. The girl from Hope Springs kind of annoying. She's like, "How dare you do this?" Okay, go ahead and do it because I have no say so. So there's some.
She realized she was wrong.
Yeah. Well, I like how she's like, "Okay, go ahead," and they're already like, 50 yards down the way, walking away from her. It's like, no, they already are. Don't worry. And I just love Rai in this, and then just the deadly kills, going for the big kills. It's a fun book, and again, Rip's art when you're going for big kills is perfect for it. And it's just interesting at the very end, though. It's supposed to be 14 hours to get that piece out of the Transformer, and then it just seems like it was like moments later. He gets it out a little quicker.
One thing about like the Geomancers, it makes me miss Tama. Like, even though the totally different timeline, but we need to get Tama back in the Valiant universe at some point, just because she's such a great character. And I feel like the last time we saw her was with Incursion. We have to get a follow-up to that sometime soon, hopefully this year.
Yeah. I totally second that. I would love to see a follow-up to Incursion. But yeah, very happy to see Galad with a Geomancer in this book. I think that, there's so much to be said, and Different Minds in the live chat has a really good point that the level of consistency that Reeve brings to his pages is something that really takes his art to another level. Like it's one thing to be consistent. It's one thing to have really highly detailed pages, but to be able to put those two together and have, that insane level of detail while keeping everything so solid and consistent from page to page and panel to panel. I mean, that, for me, it makes for a much more immersive reading experience. You really can lose yourself in the story when it feels that way, because you don't feel like you're reading something different from page to page. It really feels like it's all flowing together. So, yeah, I mean, like I was saying before, the writing is on point. The art is on point. I think that as much as, and we're going to talk about Bloodshot, and I've got some positive things to say about that book. I've got to say, Rye has to be the best book that Valiant is putting out right now. And that's one of the reasons why I think that I'm really excited about the promotions that were made recently with, both Heather and Lisa moving into senior editor positions, because both of them have been doing amazing work. And this is one of the books that showcases the high quality work that we're getting. Because I believe Lisa is editing this book, isn't she?
Yeah, she's the one running this book and Bloodshot. So Lisa's work's
Yeah,
been pretty
both
darn good.
amazing books. Yes, absolutely. 100% agreed. So for me, I think that this is a super, super solid book. It's really hard to um, it's hard to grade because it's hard to take a lot away from it, but I don't want to go too crazy with it. But I'm going to give it a 4.5. I think that this is an easy 9 out of 10, 4.5 out of 5 score book. Um, it's good from beginning to end. It's a perfect companion, not only to issue 4 as a direct continuation of the story in that issue, but also this wraps up the first arc of this book, and will be what the first trade is, the first 5 issues. And I think that if you look at what we've gotten with those first 5 issues, especially that unbelievable, mind-blowing issue number 2, this book has been absolutely phenomenal, and I cannot wait to see what's next. The world gets back to me.
Yeah, so I think this is the best book that Valiant does easily. And my score would be a 4.5 on it also. Really good stuff going on here. Also, we didn't talk too much about the covers on this one. One of the covers that keeps flashing up here that shows Rye facing to his right, and in his right arm, he's got his sword kind of draped across his left shoulder. That cover looks so awesome, and it's colored so well. Easily my favorite one.
Yeah, I love it. I'm loving those black and gray ones that are showing the characters pretty good. But yeah, it's the covers have been really strong on this book so far with Rye. Lots of lots of the pinup art, but they're doing good. They look good. Nothing matches that John Boy Myers though, but it's good still. That Fallen World. I almost want to say something different just because that way we wouldn't all say the same thing, but a 4.5 to me as well. It's a great book, and I hate that we all agree because it's fun to talk crap to each other, but it's also, it does say something when we're trying to be all, we try to read these how we really believe they are, and yeah, we're all agreeing on it, so.
Yeah, and I've had the chance to read this one a few times too. So I mean, like even after reading it probably 3 times, because I haven't had too many new books to read, and I've got just like a stack that's been sitting by my bed for the last month of the same books. Um, it holds up, man. Like I've read it a few times, and I feel like every time I've read it, it's been just a really, really great book.
Yeah, totally agreed. Um, Something that we didn't really mention a lot is Dollhouse has been killing it on colors. That's been definitely another strong point of this book. Different Minds said that it reminds him of when Belair was coloring Reap with Britannia. And I'll say I think that there's a really big difference between Belair and Dollhouse, but I think Dollhouse is doing a great job. Yeah, it's been really solid, and that's another piece of that consistency. The colors feel really consistent from panel to panel and page to page. But yeah, we have another book that we can talk about. We got Bloodshot number 7, which is the first issue of a new arc, The Burned. So this is Burned Part 1. So there's a lot going on in this issue. One thing I will say, I think that this is the first issue of the main continuity that, excuse me, Mark Laming is doing. Mark Laming did the Zero issue and now is doing this arc. According to solicits, Brett Booth will be back on Bloodshot. But
Yeah, he had a flash book that he
this
was pre-signed up to do with DC, so it kind of, he had that in the, basically setting in the can, ready, not ready to go, but ready to work on, that he agreed to do, and so that kind of conflicted with this. So getting Laming in here wasn't a bad fix. It's not Brett Booth, which I've been appreciating that first couple arcs of his work, but still pretty decent Bloodshot.
Yeah.
So I'm actually kind of surprised. Spillville is saying that Bloodshot 7 was good, but the art quality was all over the place. I actually felt like the art was really consistent. So that's interesting that we kind of felt total opposites on the art on this. I felt like the art was really consistent, and I'm actually really happy that Laming is the one coming in to do the art on this book. I was really worried because I have loved Brett Booth's work on this book so much that it was really concerning to me, to see another artist come in and see how that would play out. And I'm really, really happy with it. I think that it's been super solid.
I love the way his Bloodshot looks. Like the way that he does his hair, like his hair, because like normally Bloodshot's hairstyle looks like it would be pretty much normal. He's got like some shaved sides maybe, and the lines like where like the top and the side of his head are, and then Laming's are just so weird, like little like mini mohawks over his head almost. But like I kind of dig it, like it's just a cool look. He's got his own style for the character.
Yeah, reminds me a little bit like Jared Leto is running this one. So it's pretty cool. But what do you guys think of the girl that he saved as a young girl, or he kidnapped as a young girl, whatnot, and now they're trying to do some snoochy boochies again? Yeah.
So Bloodshot's not, and that's what I like about the way that this is playing out is that Bloodshot is like, no, this is about me being responsible for you. I'm here as like figure for you, but like I feel like I know you and I want to follow you and maybe we should smooch some more. And he's just like, what are you talking about? We got
right. I mean, so I think that's really what they're trying to go off of, right? Kidnapper, the person that kidnapped you, feeling that trust and feelings towards that, towards that, right? The captor towards the victim, or the victim towards the captor. So.
Well, and the nice thing about it is that Bloodshot is not taking advantage of the situation.
Yeah, he's a good dude, man. Despite all he has to kill all the time, he's a pretty good dude.
Don't you wish that there should be mention of magic in here, or just thoughts of it, of that he...
I don't think it has to, I mean, it's come up in the run already. I just don't think it's one of those things that needs to get like hammered over. Like he doesn't need to be like, sorry, I can't get down with you. I've got this lady who kind of hates me but kind of likes me, and we have a kid, and well, I just think like I don't know. It doesn't need to get brought up if she's not even going to be there, I think.
I feel like it's already come up in the arc or in the book, and I feel like bringing it up again and again every issue would be beating a dead horse. So I don't see any reason why we would need to get it over and over again, but that's just me. One thing I really wanted to mention about this issue is that this to me is Bloodshot personified. Like this is such a perfect Bloodshot issue because writing wise, because for the last several issues we've gotten this ever since the Burned was introduced, they've been treating Bloodshot as like we're here to be your support, we're here to let you do what you want to do, you're calling the shots, we're just here to back you up. And that is so atypical of the situation Bloodshot generally finds himself in. And now the other shoe drops and turns out, nope, they've really been using him the entire time and manipulating him into a position where they can use him to, fulfill their own goals regardless of what he wants. And that, to me, that switch, that flip right there is peak Bloodshot. And it was perfect writing to get us from a point where he didn't know or trust the Burned to where he did trust them and was not even worried about them because he was totally thinking that they were on the same side, to them flipping around and saying, nope, we've been using you this entire time. Like that, the way that Tim Seeley has crafted that is, to me, says that he really understands Bloodshot and gets the character, and makes me really excited to see what comes next in this book.
Yeah, so like, and something we haven't really talked about too much is like this place that they go to where the Burned have all these, like they've got people, they've got like some monsters, like just like caged up. All this stuff comes loose, and I'm kind of excited because I feel like this is gonna be one of those stories where you're gonna see Bloodshot kind of let loose on a bunch of like crazy shit, which I'm really excited. I'm really looking forward to it.
When Bloodshot can kill things, get bloody, use guns. And it is cool that there's just this collection of monsters that these guys have had. It is interesting again because just a couple issues ago, though, it was, we trust you, we love you, we're going to let you do your thing. Ha, wrong. We're going to stab you in the back like it always happens to you. You poor bastard. And it keeps happening to the dude. And yeah. And what did you think of the dudes that were flying in when they're in the helicopter? I could just imagine Eric's face at first going, "Ooh, Armorines, yes!" Yeah.
They were badass. They definitely were badass.
They were cool. You know, they're not Armorines cool, but like they're cool. I think they're I would say this though, they have a better look than the Armorines, because the Armorines, like, as much as like Eric and I have always kind of like brought them up and been like, hey, do something with them, Valiant. I also feel like they need a little bit of like a costume upgrade. Like someone just needs to give them like a little bit of TLC to their look. These guys looked awesome, you know, but I think like any one of the Armorines would have like mopped them all up,
they
you know.
Just change up the colors, make an orange one and call them Mikey, and you know, just change them up so we can see who they are. They're not just one group. Individualize them a little bit. No, I think it was good. It continues to be a good story. This is my favorite week when these two books come out each month, because it's Rye and Bloodshot, and they kind of have them together. And I like the calls to continuity, but yet that these are still being their own books, their own stories, but yet there still is, like, you know what I mean, that call, that respect, that nod to continuity that Lisa has pushed into both of these two books. That we're seeing. So we're getting to see Geomancers, we're getting to see the Eternal Warrior, now we're getting to see Bloodshot, his story, his character, little calls to past continuity. In the past they've talked about just, you know, the Goldies, they've talked about, you know, magic, you know, they've talked about little things in there, and so it's appreciated, and I enjoyed it so much. And yeah, again, two books that I'm always looking forward to.
Couldn't agree more, really. And for me, you know, I said that Rye is the best book that Valiant is putting out right now, and I don't think that this one is very far behind. So for me, this is going to be just a ever so slightly lower score at a 4.25. I am loving this book. After watching the Bloodshot movie over and over again, it's really nice to know that there is a Bloodshot book on the stands that is doing the character justice, so that if somebody watches the movie and wants to know what the character is like and wants to get into the comics, they can go pick up Bloodshot Book 1 and really be reading a book that is is a good representation of who the character is. It's not, you know, I'm not in a position as a Bloodshot fan where I have to say like, don't read this, or oh, maybe avoid that, and don't read the book going on right now, go back a few years. No, I can say, look, go to your comic shop, pick up the Bloodshot book that just came out, and you're going to love it if you enjoyed the Bloodshot movie.
Yeah, you know, I totally agree with that. Like right now, like Bloodshot's in a good spot. So like you can get this, you can get issue 0, you can get this first part of Burned. They're quality stuff. I think if you like the movie, like you'd really like this.
Yeah.
As far as my score goes, I'm gonna go a little bit lower than that. I'm gonna go with a 4. Book's super solid. It's in a good spot right now. Looking forward to where we're going with it. One thing I have a question about, I don't know if either of you have an answer to this, but there's this fully loaded cover that keeps popping up on the feed. Do we know when that comes out?
I think that was given out during either the press, or I think it was at the press junket too. So I know they had the yellow Bloodshot #1, but I think this was another one that kind of came out. Yeah.
Oh, that stinks. I've been like slacking on all this stuff. I barely just found out after things were sold out that there was a Bloodshot 7 Vin Diesel cover that you could get through Regal Theaters. And I never know about any of this stuff. I feel like lately everything just kind of passes me by.
No, I think that Fully Loaded was going to be released later. They gave a date for it, but I don't remember what it was, and I'm sure it's been pushed back now with Diamond shutting down. But I think that is going to be something that's going to be widely available. Yep. At least I really hope so.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to split the difference between the two of you guys and go like a 4.1, 2.5. So it's good. I enjoyed it. I think I'm right there with both of you guys. It's a solid book. Again, can't say anything different than that. Looking forward to when we get more.
Yep.
And going from there. Yeah, so we got, and in the chat we had different minds. He basically says he's thinking Lisa's going to do Harbinger. I think we have heard Heather say that she will be the editor on that, is my thought. I think she's kind of alluded towards that. So, we'll see.
Yeah, I think that I've seen some hints of Heather doing Harbinger as well. So if Lisa is hinting that she is working on developing a prose writer into comics,
Ninjak.
Oh, that could be Ninjak. That could totally be Ninjak. But here's, you know what?
Yep.
If I could pick who I want to write Ninjak, I would actually totally pick Greg Hurwitz. I don't know if you guys are very familiar with Greg Hurwitz.
Yeah.
But he has written a bunch of comics before. He wrote my absolute favorite Penguin story ever, Penguin, Pain, and Prejudice, which I know is a weird thing to call out on a Valiant podcast, but I'm a big fan of that book. And he also writes a series of novels called Orphan X, which is an insanely awesome action series. It's this really incredible action thriller series of novels. And
I read the first book last year of that. I liked it.
It's really good.
Yeah.
It's really, really good. I
to,
definitely recommend it.
If I had to pick anybody to be on a Ninjak, I'd probably say Tom King.
Ooh.
So
you know what's weird is I would pick that guy that wrote the last issue of Ninjak.
That was good.
That issue right after Kent's run.
27.
Like 27?
Yeah,
27. It was just such a great done in one.
Yeah, it was.
And it was just like, let's get more of that guy writing books. That was awesome. I mean, I don't know. I think you could speculate all day or like have like dream lineups, and it's hard, because there's like 100 people. I think I would be like, that'd be cool. That guy wrote Ninjak too, and that guy, and this guy should pencil it, and that guy should pencil it. Like too many.
Yeah, there's a lot of good creators, good writers out there, and I think giving them all a shot, because sometimes it's the person we never would expect that's going to give us a damn good story.
Yeah.
And that's just kind of the way it is. It's whoever has a good story at that time, that has the character in the right place with the right tools to play with, and that continuity and that the rest of the world is setting up, especially in the shared universe.
Kevin Maurer, that's who it is.
Yes, Kevin Maurer. There you go. Yeah,
Nice.
I liked that issue. So.
Yeah, Kevin Moore. Yeah, I was a big fan of that. I'm with Tor. Seeing Neil Gaiman write a Valiant story would be crazy.
Yeah, that would be.
I could see him doing like Punk Mambo or Shadow Man or something.
Yeah.
Him doing like a Shadow Man. I mean, people would compare it too much to Sandman, but that'd be pretty damn cool.
Yeah.
Down for it. But like I said, we could speculate on who could write and who could draw anything all the time. But again, I just want to say I'm really happy with the direction that things seem to be going at Valiant right now. We're getting this the announcement of Heather and Lisa moving into senior editor positions. I think both of them have distinct voices. We're seeing Lisa edit two of the best books that Valiant is putting out right now. And then we're also seeing Heather not only doing Quantum and Woody, which has been really solid, but also bringing us The Final Witness, which I'm insanely excited for and cannot wait to read. And we're also seeing Heather is working on a Shadow Man book, which looks like it's going to be exactly what a Shadow Man book needs to be. I think that to me gives me a lot of confidence in what Valiant is doing and the direction that the comics are going to be going.
We're also getting a Riverdale Savage too.
I don't know if that. We'll have to read the book to find out whether or not that's an accurate description of Savage of what this new Savage is going to be.
Do you guys? I mean, do Do you guys think there's something more with Lisa and Heather getting that promotion that we haven't heard about?
I don't know. I mean, that's hard to say, because I think the company is very small, and so I think anytime anybody does anything, there's a good reason why. They should kind of be there, especially Lisa. I think that she's. I mean, I'm not trying to pick favorites or anything like that. So I mean, like, no offense to anyone. I just think I like the books that she works on more.
Yeah.
That's probably mostly it, But I think do that to keep them around because they're doing great work.
Right.
And I just feel like, especially with Lisa's books, though, I just tend to like her books a lot more. Those are the characters I like the most.
I agree.
But I would also say, having read the Final Witness sneak preview that was in X01, I think that book's gonna be awesome. I really do think it's gonna be awesome.
That's awesome. Yeah, and I agree. I think Heather both of them deserve it. I mean, but I've been really liking what Lisa's put out, and then historically, her with what she did with X-Men, and then what Birds of Prey that she has done. So she's had quite a bit of big things that have happened in other companies as well, for quite a while. So, but yeah, I just kind of like I mentioned that just because usually when you get those moves, there's something else. There was something else moving a back piece, and and then other things that have been shown on social media. Let you guys connect dots on the lines and chat. Just thoughts and speculations.
Yeah. So one thing from the chat that came up, Different Minds was saying, what are the plans for Get Valiant moving forward? So as Eric was saying earlier in the episode, we have material that we still need to get caught up on. We have a lot of books. We still haven't talked about Bloodshot. We've done a little bit of talking about it here and there, but we just haven't had enough time to do like proper justice to it. There's still chances that we can get interviews on. We're still going to try to have content for you guys. Even if there's not books coming out, we have stuff that we can talk about. There's tons of stuff to talk about. Not only that, every weekly Valiant's doing stuff with their Hero of the Week. I'm sure there's a lot of stuff that we're going to start talking about in conjunction with that also. So if you're looking for like a little bit of your Valiant fix, we'll try to give it to you as we can. We're not looking to go on hiatus. Not for any long period of time, if that's the case.
You will still see our ugly
definitely.
faces.
Yes.
Absolutely.
You will still see all three of us bald dudes.
Yeah.
Not by choice either,
Now,
for the most part. Eric chose to do it.
Yeah.
Josh and I don't choose this. It chose
Eric
us.
is
It
trying
chose
to
us.
he's trying to like steal our scene, He's all like, I can be bald.
Hey guys,
Yeah, right.
I
can
see
pull
that
it off.
bald head over there. Can I join? Of course you can, buddy.
I want to be one of the cool kids. What can I
You are,
say?
buddy. You are.
Well, I'm glad I'm finally considered cool.
Oh man, no. I think that was well said, Josh. We still have plans to continue working on the podcast, and we still have more than enough stuff to talk about. We're actually working on what sounds like is going to be an interview coming up relatively soon. So we've still got content coming, and something I really want to talk about is and I don't think that we have the time right now, but something I really want to talk about is that for the first Hero of the Week, Bloodshot got the win, and Valiant has been pumping Bloodshot all week on their Twitter and on Facebook, and I really want to talk about some Bloodshot stuff. And we may be able to do something like that this weekend yet. We'll see how schedules align, but we'll figure something out. And then we also have the amazing movie that we get to talk about. We've still got Exo Manowar #1 and Quantum and Woody #3, Visitor #4, Dr. Tomorrow #2. So lots of books that we can still review, the movie that we can review, and Valiant is going to make sure that we've always still got new content to talk about, and fun ways to go back and talk about books from the past, because something we've been talking about offline, off the air, is with this Hero of the Week initiative going on, that makes us look back and say, what are the definitive Bloodshot books for us? What are the ones that we look at and say, this is Bloodshot? And those are some fun conversations that we're going to get to have as Valiant continues to talk about their Hero of the Week.
Oh, absolutely. And to think that we wouldn't have much to say about anything is, you guys If you watch us at all, you know that we have plenty to say about anything. So
We're blowhards.
it's a nice
Yep.
it's a nice thing that we got going on here to be able to talk about quite a bit. I would say make sure you're subscribed if you haven't. Hit the bell that's right next to it, the subscribe button. That way, if we do go live, you'll get that alert. If not, check us on the flip, and make sure you're getting us on Twitter, Facebook. Facebook's always a good place. We're usually got some type of link going on the Get Valiant Facebook page. So do make sure you're connected there.
And Tor, let's talk about you coming on a future episode. We'll make it happen.
Yep, let's
Gotta
make it
watch that
happen.
language. I've been noticing on the chat. It's like this person had foul language. So, dude, YouTube doesn't like it. I don't know. No F-bombs, man.
Oh,
We've
fuck
never
it.
fucking cussed on this show before, so we can't do it anymore.
Well, the nice thing is you're allowed one fuck, so I'm glad we got that one fuck out of the way for
Is that
tonight.
why you say you want to?
Yeah. Get that one fuck out of the way.
What are you calling him? That's not right, dude.
No, I mean, that's not what I meant. We'll just see. I mean, I've seen the kind of stuff that Tor posts on his page, so maybe,
Hey, we'll appreciate it. We appreciate it, man. So, yeah, thanks for jumping on, too, and doing that, man. And his Bloodshot tattoo. Yeah, he mentioned he got a heart on his Bloodshot tattoo. That was a damn cool one, and I believe I got part of that guy's artwork right here. Who's the guy that did that? Fred Pierce's son-in-law.
Ryan Bodenheim.
Bodenheim. Yeah, Fred Pierce's son-in-law.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I didn't know that he was Fred Pierce's son-in-law, but he's an
Did not know
amazing
that.
artist. And that cover that Tor has tattooed on him, he said that he drew that the day that he learned Dinesh was leaving Valiant. So that was how he was feeling that day, and that turned into one of my all-time favorite Bloodshot covers.
It's a damn cool one. Yeah. So I'm lucky I got two of Bodenheim's covers, Bloodshot. So I love it. So dig it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, thanks everybody for hanging out with us. Thanks everybody for joining the live chat, for watching, for listening, for supporting not only us here at Get Valiant, but supporting Valiant, the company. You can find them on Twitter. You can find them on Facebook. You can find them everywhere. You can also find us on Twitter at the Get Valiant. We're on Facebook in the Get Valiant group. And come on and hang out with us, talk about Valiant, and we'll get down on all kinds of topics. Obviously, Josh talking about hardcore. I'll talk to you about death metal all day long. And apparently Hooser will talk to you about the Cubs.
The Cubs,
So.
yeah.
I will also
a bunch of different things.
I will also talk to you about the Cubs. Hypothetically, what they would have been doing by now, which is probably being in first place over the Cardinals.
Hey, you know what? That's it. As long as we beat the Cardinals and Ronnie Barron from Valiant Central's team sucks, we're good, and we can deal with that. Because
Everybody's happy.
we don't really have much.
Go Cubs, go.
So I've been watching a lot of pro wrestling lately,
All right.
guys, because they're still doing that. Josh, have you been?
I was gonna say the WWE app has a lot of free content right now. So if you need a wrestling fix, also Dark Side of the Ring. Watch Dark Side of the Ring. It's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
It's on Vice.
Okay.
Highly recommend it. They had a 2-part episode about Chris Benoit.
Ooh,
Super sad
that
shit.
is messed up. Yeah.
But he was. I was a big fan of Benoit
The
until
Canadian
that. But
Crippler,
also,
right? That's it.
the Crippler did the Crippler
That's-
crossface on you.
Eric knows
But-
about the crossface.
All
Oh,
the
man.
episodes of Dark Side of the Ring are awesome. They're all really good. It's all dark shit. I mean, that's why it's called Dark Side of the Ring. The episode this week was about New Jack from ECW. It was such a fucking entertaining episode. It
You'll
was
have
awesome.
to watch that. That's cool. Yeah. That is
Yep.
awesome.
All right. Well, this has been Get Valiant number 155. Thank you, everybody, for joining us, for watching, for listening. We've had a great time, and we'll be back as soon as we can. Signing off, I'm Eric Baumgard.
I'm Josh
And I'm
Rathbun.
Hoosier.
You guys all